Welcome back. If this is your first time here, welcome in to my What I Watched This Week series, TV, movies, whatever. I've got a bit of a big week for videos. I'm going to kind of deviate from my stated goal of one a week. Not deviate, I'm going to keep doing the What I Watch series next week, but I'm going to make a sort of how I rate movies on Letterboxd video, give examples of each star amount. So that's exciting for me. But I think we should just get into what I watched this week, week two. Starting off with the short films I've watched this week. I wouldn't call them short films, but I did watch a couple of Adult Swim shorts infomercials, which I think they are. They're on Letterboxd. I logged them, so I'll talk about them. The first that I watched is a short called Alpha Chow, starring Alan Ritchson. You may know him from War Machine that came out this year, Blue Mountain State, Reacher. It is 4 minutes long, very enjoyable, funny, and as sort of the Adult Swim shorts slash infomercials kind of do, it gets kind of wacky pretty quickly. I don't want to give away too much because it's a very short time commitment and it is very enjoyable. I thought I did laugh a couple of times, which is rare for these kinds of short things. Usually, they don't work as much now on me as they did a couple years ago. But I thought this one was good. I thought it subverted what I thought I was going to do, or it was going to do, pretty quickly and actually multiple times. So I think Alan Richardson is a very good. I can't believe I know this came out 12 years ago, so I don't know if he was at. He's kind of probably at close to the peak of his career right now, but I don't he's kind of a big name. He's kind of shocking to see him in this, but he fits well, and it's funny, so I enjoyed it. The next short film I watched, and the final short film I watched this week, was unedited footage of a bear. This is a rewatch. I've seen this a couple of times. This is a classic internet scary video, classic drug allegory. Very enjoyable. If you haven't seen it, you should. It is 10 minutes, 11 minutes. And like I said, it is just an internet classic. I don't have too much else to say that is new about it. Everything that's been said about it has been. You can watch a breakdown of it. You cannot watch a breakdown of it. It's enjoyable either way. It's off-putting, and I think the acting is pretty good in it too. The first film that I watched this week is The Master from Paul Thomas Anderson and starring Joaquin Phoenix, Amy Adams, and Philip Seymour Hoffman, which I enjoyed. I gave it a 4 out of 5 and a little heart. I'll show it early here. I thought the performances were very good. I thought that Joaquin Phoenix, of course, he's good in pretty much everything he's in, um, portrayed a really believable sort of damaged guy. I think the only thing they could have, done that made it better is tattoo damaged on his forehead, like Jared Leto did in The Joker, or as the Joker. But the real star here, in my opinion, is of course Philip Seymour Hoffman. He is again so believable. That's the main thing that I liked about this movie was how believable everybody was in their roles and how convincing the dynamics are. I am somewhat interested in sort of the cult environment and how people get roped into stuff like that. And I do think you do a little bit of research into it, and what a very common tactic that they use to isolate people is exhaustion. And this movie is exhausting. You are seeing it all from Joaquin Phoenix character's perspective, and he is just being consistently, he's acting out because he's got PTSD. He fought in the war, and he's not acting right necessarily. So he's getting sort of treated in this manner to break him down and to kind of keep him subservient. He ends up breaking away from that, and I thought it was a good ending. I don't know what the point of it was. But that doesn't mean that I didn't you can't enjoy it. I thought um, that everybody was brought their A game. I thought the script was pretty good, um, but that little ding, not really. Maybe on a second watch, I'll get a little bit more out of it. Certainly one of, in my opinion, Philip Seymour Hoffman's best performances. So that's why it still gets a 4 from me. Immediately after The Master, at probably 1 in the morning, I watched my second movie of the day, of the 24 hours, which was Lars and the Real Girl, starring Ryan Gosling. And this is up there for me in like with The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling performances. He is so good in this movie. Everybody's very good, but he especially, the intricacies of his character Lars and the dynamics he has with those around him are very earnest. I loved how earnest this movie felt. And I love that throughout the entire thing, you can just feel how important Lars is to everyone around him, the entire community. He is obviously very socially awkward. The thought of doing anything socially, being touched, hugged, whatever, is sickening to him. He does this hard blinking thing when he's uncomfortable, pretty much throughout the whole movie. But this real girl that he has, that everybody around him helps him out with, that they were all so quick to support him in this time where he clearly needed support, and he gets it, and he's helped. His whole community comes together to help him. It's a very, very sweet movie. It's called a comedy. It is sort of a funny premise, I guess, that you could take it in a funny way, but the movie gets all of its comedy out pretty early. It is not constantly funny. Once there's a certain switch that's honestly, once the girl shows up, the real girl shows up, to me, it's not funny anymore. It becomes like a legitimate, heartfelt, sort of, like I said, earnest movie that has already cracked my top 10. I put it at 10 for now. It resonated with me very, very well. And like I said, Ryan Gosling this is one of his best performances. So give a little 5. And of course, little 5 out of 5. And of course, you have to add the star to signify that you loved it. And I did love this movie. I'll probably watch it multiple more times. Took a couple days off after that. Actually, I watched those short films after Lars because I was trying to watch a new movie or a different movie, but it was like 4 in the morning. So I was like, maybe I shouldn't start at one. So I sort of got my fix on the what the fuck am I talking? I rented Nirvana the band, the show, the movie this week as well, which I will just come out and say I loved as well. Couple of good movies I watched this week. The next one isn't going to be good, but a lot of them are very good. I laughed my ass off at this movie. Matt Johnson, his delivery is so good. It is right what I'm looking for in a comedy. It is so dry. It is so aware and meta. The idea of we're just going to make a fourth Back to the Future movie and we'll see what happens is so funny to me. And the execution is so good. They make a comment, Matt Johnson makes a comment when they actually, spoilers, when they actually do go back in time, that this would be very hard to fake. And he's right. This would be very hard to fake. I don't know how they did it. I can't, if I think about it for too long, it's going to make my brain explode. It is so funny. When you realize that they're back in 2008 and the original version of Let's Get It Started by the Black Eyed Peas comes on, and they look at this newspaper that has Bill Cosby on the front of it and this big tourist bus that has Jared Fogle on the back of it. Just it's a 1, 2, 3 punch that is so effective. One of the funniest scenes of like visual gags maybe that I've ever seen. So, just talking about this with a lot of reverence. So, pretty obvious 5 out of 5 and a love for me here. Probably, I wish I had it. I wish I bought it instead of rented it because I want to watch it with my fiance again soon, and it's just so much fun. It's such a funny movie. The next movie I'd like to talk about is Leviticus, and I'm gonna come out just like I did with the last one, and I'm just gonna say I didn't care for this movie. I thought this movie suffered a lot from its marketing, similar to Longlegs, although I think Longlegs is a better movie. And the reason I think that is because Longlegs is scary. Leviticus is not scary. There are some somewhat tense moments, but as a horror movie, it is, I think, ineffective as a whole. I think the story is super interesting. I loved It Follows, and I'm going to try not to compare the two that much because they're similar, but not 100 to one. It's not a 1-to-1 comparison, but they still have that similar sort of, it's an allegory for sex and lust and whatever. I thought, and this, I'm just going to read my review of it because I think it does. I think I nailed my feelings on it. I understand that Leviticus is, at least metaphorically, a lot of people's realities, but Leviticus is a movie. Those aren't real people, and it's insanely boring and not scary, the movie. So if I had, I do have some positives, of course. The two leads, Stacey Clausen and Joe Bird, are very good. Their chemistry is undeniable. Their performances are convincing and earnest again. I keep using that word this video, but I believed them. I believed that they were a thing. I believed that they were, in the movie, so to speak. But I don't have much else that I liked about it. I don't like I just thought that I thought literally every scene could have had more potential, except for the scene where towards the end where Name, which is Joe Bird's character, figures out a way to sort of subdue the thing that's chasing him and Ryan. At the end of the day, it just didn't work for me. To me, it doesn't make like, 'cause there's a third kid in this movie who gets killed by it like immediately. It's fucking with him for like a week, and then he dies. Doesn't really seem right. And nobody, and of course, they blame it on like a hate crime. Dude, the guy's head got ripped off. None of the characters are likable really, except for the main two. I understand why this resonated so for so many people. I do get it, and I do think it's a well-made movie. I think the dialogue's really good, but it didn't work for me. It wasn't scary. I gave it a 2. Sorry, unfortunately, it just didn't work for me. Got two bangers of movies to end it out. The first one was Knives Out. Watch this on the good old 4th of July with my wonderful fiance. We both really enjoyed it. Very funny. I didn't think there's some line deliveries in this movie that are pretty all time, and they just kind of come out of nowhere. They just say them, every once in a while. I thought it was very funny. I thought the mystery was really good. The twists were very good. Sometimes with these whodunit movies, this is not a hot take, but sometimes with these murder mystery whodunits, sort of they can fall into, the real killer is sort of just this random guy, and they'll, piece together little things. I don't think that I don't think that Knives Out does this. I think that you can very easily see that Chris Evans is behind it the entire time. They sow some doubt, of course. It could be any of them, but the original reveal that it was Ana de Armas that sort of unknowingly did it, but then, oh, Chris Evans' character Ransom is the real culprit because we had a witness that he switched the vials. The only thing is that I do think Ana de Armas did kind of lead the police down sort of a wild goose chase. It seems a little bit far fetched to think that she would be let off with nothing. I do think, her keeping the inheritance that was given to her is totally fine. Obviously, she would get it, but I also think it's ridiculous that she wouldn't look at the toxicology report before giving it to Benoit Blanc. But it's okay. Uh, I don't want to. Those are classic nitpicks. Those are classic Nick likes magic nitpicks. Say that 3 times fast. Um, it it was very very good. Of course, it's a classic. I'm surprised. I'm shocked I haven't watched it before. I'm hoping to knock off Glass Onion maybe this week. But definitely I haven't seen any of them, which is insane. But they're all on like different streaming platforms, or they were. They might not anymore, but I couldn't find Knives Out for a while. I'm like scrolling on Amazon, I see Glass Onion. I'm like, maybe I should watch Knives Out first. Very good, very, very, very good. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Just those little nitpicks kept it from being a perfect 5 for me, but definitely will give it a rewatch, and definitely enjoyed the hell out of it. The second of the two bangers that I ended my week on, which I guess maybe I should put this in next week's, but I'm not going to because I watched it at 2 a.m. before I went to bed. So my week starts when I wake up on Sunday. Was Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Listen, I am a sucker for these kinds of movies. I really enjoyed the Masters of the Universe movie that came out this year. I really do enjoy these sort of adventure movies where I feel like I'm, part of the team and I'm coming along for the ride. This felt so much like a D&D campaign, so much like I'm just playing Baldur's Gate with just a group of my friends. Such a unique and enjoyable experience. I think it's very, very funny. Chris Pine is a natural. I hope they make another one. I desperately hope they make another one. I don't know what it could be. I don't know. I don't know if it'll be with Chris Pine, or if that. But I need more movies like this. I need them. I literally felt like I was just playing Baldur's Gate, and I was just along for the ride. Some incredible, just classic, just like Knives Out. Some great line deliveries, some all-time jokes and bits, and the fact that some of the visuals were practical. A lot of it's CGI, but some of them were practical, and I think that just shows how much care went into making this as legitimate of a D&D experience, authentic D&D experience as they could have gotten, and they achieved it, in my opinion, in droves. Um, so easy 4.5 out of 5. I don't even have really a reason why I didn't give it a 5. I don't think. I just it worked on so many levels for me. So funny, enjoyed every minute of it. It's like a 2-hour movie. Didn't feel that way at all. I looked down, it's 4 a.m. I'm like, holy shit. How how did 2 hours go by? It didn't feel like it at all. Watched immediately. It's on Paramount Plus. Incredibly enjoyable. It's not going anywhere because it's produced by Paramount. So not going anywhere. It'll be on Paramount Plus. Just do the trial and watch it, if nothing else. Insanely enjoyable movie that I loved. Now for TV. I'll start out with the mid because I want to end this video on a high note like I did last week. I watched episode 6 of Cape Fear. This episode heated up, and I said this in last week's video. I still mean it. I love the campiness of the editing of this show. I love the camera pans and zooms and the sound cues and editing. I still can't stand Amy Adams' accent, but there's no reason for me to harp on that. I've already harped on that enough. This family is so hard to root for. None of them have many redeeming qualities. The parents were sleeping together during the middle of a massive murder case where they were opposing counsel to each other. The son is an incel perv, okay, and the daughter is probably the most redeemable out of all of them because I think she is smart enough to sort of understand not what's going on, but to be affected by what's going on, if that makes any sense. I think she's not a very popular character in the show's world, so it's a little bit easier for her to sympathize with. And Mac, I mean, the only thing that this show, this episode did heat up towards the end after they take the acid, which I don't know if I wasn't paying attention, but I don't remember how that even got in there. I know the whole show is just weird stuff happening now. And we did get to see, I don't know if I'm misremembering, but this is the first time, I thought this episode included the first time where Max Cady was sort of adversarial with the Bodens, and that he sort of admitted that he wanted to make them feel how he felt for so long. So this, like I said, after the acid trip, this show and the final sequence was very, very good. This episode did heat up. I think I gave it a 3.5 on serialized, but the family, I'm so sick of nobody saying anything to each other. They're always fighting. They're always never on the same page. This is a point in each of their lives where they're being like targeted by this guy who has a reason to target them. And they're never honest with each other. They're never telling each other, legitimately what's going on. It is infuriating. It will feel like we're getting to a point where we're talking about stuff now, but it never happens. It's just Patrick Wilson being like, nothing happened. And Amy Adams like, well, something must have happened because you gave him ammunition, which is how she sounds. The only thing for me carrying it is Javier Bardem, as well as the editing. I think the editing and the tone are very good, and it's getting to a point where crazy shit's gonna start happening, and I'm sure it'll improve. But to me, the family dynamic needs to improve immediately because they are so every time they're in their bedroom or living room together, I'm like, oh my god, get to the weird shit. Jeez. At the end of last week's episode, I said I was pretty much immediately just going to binge the rest of Widow's Bay, and that is exactly what I did after I was done editing. I sat down on my couch and I watched up until episode 9. Then I went and I got breakfast, and I came back and watched the finale, and then I went to bed for 6 hours. This show is so incredible. It deserves its high rating 100%. The first couple, I mean, they're every episode is great. My only low light was the fully lore episode about Widow's Bay's founding and its sort of cult background. I thought, you know, and it made sense. It did make sense because the episode it was going into, they were robbing the founder's grave, and the payoff for it is very good. And I understand, but I don't always love those sort of back and lore episodes that are strictly to explain the backstory of something. But that being said, I did think it was still an easy like 3.5 stars, which for a season's worst episode is pretty good. But the rest of it is just it's peak. It's peak. What can you say? My favorite episode is episode 4. I originally this show does a good job of immediately proving me wrong because I also didn't think I wanted a season 2, but the choice is made in the final 3 episodes. Yeah, I need a season 2. Patricia is a great character played by Katie O'Flynn. I got a lot of Shining vibes. I even think that Matthew Rhys and Katie O'Flynn in this show, their characters really, they kind of even look like Jack and Wendy Torrance, in my opinion. They are very, very good together. Patricia and Katie O'Flynn, very great character. But I didn't think episode 4, I didn't think I was going to like the sort of Patricia centered episode. Even though the third episode ended on a cliffhanger, and we got like an immediate payoff of what happened to come into that cliffhanger. I wasn't excited for it. This episode is so good. Is so good. I it is I mean, you have to watch it. It's so intense. The atmosphere of the show is unmatched in my opinion. I don't know what they did to put what kind of crack they put in this show. The second episode is so good. I love that we don't have to watch Tom Loftus and Tom and Wick fight the entire season. I am so happy that Tom spends a night in the inn and he sees the ghost, the clown ghost. And then like episode 3, he's like, this place sucks. And I can't believe I told all these people to come here. And they're finally like, I'm so glad that we ended up getting this much Stephen Root in this show because he is so awesome. Everybody is so awesome. I cannot stand Tom's son constantly going and doing everything he can to undermine Tom. But then it turns out Tom's also still lying to him. So it's still like there's so much going on in this show. I don't want to give away too much. I've already this is a spoiler show video series, but I'm not going to here. I don't want to. I I'm going to watch it again probably, and I want to make my own maybe before season 2, which is probably 3 years away, so I have plenty of time to do this, pre season 2 review of Widow's Bay because I think it's a very close to a perfect show. Very, very, very close to a perfect show that what they're able to do, especially with the atmosphere. The performances are great, and the atmosphere is just chef's kiss. So enjoyable, such an enjoyable show. Please go watch it. It's on Apple TV. It's only the episode's like 38 minutes, and then the finale is like an hour. Please go watch it. It's so good. Thank you all so much for watching. The next time you see me, I'll be explaining my letterbox scale. It's not a perfect scale, but we'll get into that in a couple days. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about what I watched this week. Let me know what you watched this week, and I will see you shortly.